You probably know having adequate vitamin D, that's a good thing, that's important. But did you know it can reduce your risk of a miscarriage? The National Institutes of Health looked at 1,200 women who had experienced a miscarriage, found vitamin D did play a role. Women with sufficient vitamin D levels were 10% more likely to become pregnant, 15% more likely to have a live birth. It highlights something that a lot of people don't think about, which is a lot of people have low vitamin D levels. And it's virtually everything in life, having adequate vitamin D levels are important. And certainly you would argue having a baby as well.
Absolutely. So we know that there's a range if you look at different studies, but about 20% of known pregnancies will end in miscarriage. And the number is actually higher than that because a lot of times, unfortunately, women will have a miscarriage before they even know they're pregnant. And when you look at reasons for miscarriages, you have a lot of reasons. So increasing age, a history of miscarriage, obesity, chronic conditions. Now, some of those things you can't change, like you can change your age and things like that, but you can work on chronic conditions. Or if you have something like low vitamin D, that's also something that can come into play. So having miscarriages, it's so hard. It's so physically and emotionally draining for women. So when you come up with something like this and you say maybe boosting your vitamin D level will increase the probability of you getting pregnant again and you actually having a live birth, I mean, that's huge. And this is the research that we really get excited about in obstetrics and gynecology.
So I'm assuming that if someone is having difficulty getting pregnant, you all check vitamin D levels. And I think people forget that there are great sources: salmon, milk, eggs, fortified cereals, fortified products where you can get vitamin D. We know that sun exposure, and then for people that despite those measures still are low, then supplementation is necessary.
Because vitamin D metabolism, it's complicated. It has to do with the absorption in your diet and hormones that regulate that. I'm sure adding vitamin D to your prenatal regimen is very important.
Yeah, and if you take prenatal vitamins, and any young woman who has the probability of getting pregnant should really be on prenatal vitamins. It will have vitamin D, but sometimes it doesn't have quite enough. So you can always chat with your doctor if you're taking prenatal vitamins. So they can just look at the label, and not only the vitamin D, but they can look at the other things in there like folic acid and all that stuff and make sure you're getting enough of what you need. But in addition to your fertility, it also is important for strong bones and other things. So it's not just fertility, although that's very important, but you want to make sure that you have adequate vitamin D for overall good health.
It's very important. So obviously if you're worried, maybe you live in a climate where you never see the sun, talk with your doc about whether you should be tested for low vitamin D levels.